So this is the other thing we've been dealing with. California had a historic drought, and now that drought's over, but it is absolutely beating up the mountains. So I thought I'd show you guys the road home after we turn off the highway, and this will give you an idea. This is something else right here.
If only this gave you a scale of how vertical this is. Coming up on a big tree that used to be kind of a landmark coming up this hill, and it is down right off here to the left.
Unfortunately, I rip up too horrible much of the road on the way out. It definitely took out a couple feet over here, but not as bad as we did think.
But then it took out the road. Again, hard to see how bad that is. Although the bouncing might give you some idea.
These cones are putting up over spots that are real bad collapsing, as you can see. I don't know if Christy put this down. You can see that's real muddy over here on the right. Trees all over to the left. And then it's come down here with a chainsaw and collect the trees up and open that up. There's a bunch of this. It's just been basically made to pass so far, but not. And
Cleaned
as
up.
you can see, it's not cleaned up and not done right. Like right here, you see all these. Then you have to stay in one part of the road because there's trees hanging over all over the place. It's going to get much worse. We haven't even hit the bad spots. Because as it gets deeper, less people have to pass it, so less people care.
Well, and less people keep it in condition.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Less people care, because why would the people that live up here come clear back here to take care of the
Yeah,
road?
exactly. There are a lot of places on this mountain that just aren't accessible without four-wheel drive, and certainly not without clearance. A lot of it.
This area here would have had a lot more down trees, you can be sure, but they came in because the power lines are right here and
Clear.
chopped everything out, so there really wasn't that much left to fall right there. But then the problem is that the mountain starts sliding because they cut down so many trees. Like right now, the ones that are falling are the ones that were weak and had grown up through this drought, and now that they've got this giant abundance of water, like this right here is pepperwood, and that stuff, it falls over no problem. It grows super fast when it gets some water, takes off, tips right over, outgrows itself. other fellows that we're friends with, he's lived up here like for like 35 years. He said he's never seen it like this. But again, that California had that giant historic like 30-year drought. Well, this is what happens when you.
Well, but also, this mountain was heavily logged in the 50s,
Yep.
and so they were baby trees coming back when he was first here. So there wasn't trees like this for the mass destruction. They were all babies.
Yeah, he talks about when the trees were so short that he had cannabis plants that were out in here, and they were getting sun. It
Wasn't overgrown.
overgrown with all these trees.
This is all new growth.
Yeah, and it's new growth that hasn't been put to the test in 30 years. So now, this last couple of years, we've just got a giant abundance of moisture, and plus snow and real heavy, thick snow that stayed around and really put these trees to the test on whether they're. The funny thing is that some of them it's the root structure that's given out, and some of them it would be the trunk or what you would consider the ego. Like that's not robust enough to hold up all the weight that is developed on top of it. Very interesting metaphorically. This is one of the worst spots from last year.
Coming over the road, the
Yeah,
culverts
there
are
is
all
a
clogged.
culvert. There is a culvert here, but it got so clogged that is that culvert right there is what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
and it goes diagonally over to there.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to
tried
get
to dig
down
it
there
out.
with equipment and try and clear this out because this is full.
It's just going over the road right here rather than going
It's
through
not
the
even
culvert.
trying to go under the road or that culvert's completely plugged. And that's just happened again because that's been uncleared a few times, but with so much debris falling down and with it's not raining right now. As soon as it's raining, this is raging.
Yeah, that's not normally a waterfall. That's just hillside.
Yeah. Ruts on this driver's side over here have deepened so much. It's really become quite the crevice where for years and years people lived up here. And all through the green rush. And this wasn't ever a problem. And the worst part is those were the people that were making a whole ton of money. And now that that's all dried up and people don't have money, now the mountain's falling apart. And the only people left are the ones that live pretty simple and aren't really making much. If you're trying to be in the cannabis growing industry, at this point, you definitely don't expect to be getting rich. Most of these people are barely cutting it. They drove most of them clean out. The mountain when we first moved here was really like a kicking. At any given time, it was like kicking an ant's nest. All of a sudden, people come pouring out of holes. And anymore, it's as you guys can see, we haven't passed a single car. That's more indicative of the way it is now. This spot up here is
Oh, that's about
so
coming. Yeah. Ooh, I didn't notice that on the
so
way
bad.
out.
I watched it on the
Jeez.
way out. And the culvert, you can see it sticking out about 2 feet. If you look down, the culvert's
I'm
sticking
trying.
out.
Stop.
Yeah, full collapse right there.
Yikes. Well, at least they gave us a phone. And then we're coming to the downed phone line that no one's ever going to come out and fix.
Yeah, they're just gonna leave that bugger hanging on the road, I guess.
Not that we rely on it for phone, but
Yeah, this is exactly why we have the Saddle-Loon phone. This one right here, when it's raining, there's a spot on it that it shoots water out about a foot in from the edge, where there's a big hole, and it's just that one's falling apart too.
Oh, they got the phone line off of here. This was down earlier. It was down all the way across here too.
Somebody probably took it.
No, it's hung. They rehung it.
Oh, they
must
rehung
have
it?
fixed it. The whole thing was down. Across here too, over by the dock. Yeah, see right here where it's still down?
Right here, look, it's still down.
But it was still down over there too before. That whole stretch. Yeah, there's
That's just insane.
and this whole side of the hill is sliding. It slid 30 feet in the last, was it year he said?
Yeah, you can look up here.
Right in here you can see
Yeah,
it's
you
like
can see
built on logs. On logs.
they've actually made a fortification. I guess you can't really see the fortification anymore, but they did. They built basically a retaining wall. You can kind of see it back behind this pile of
really
logs. They built a retaining wall because this whole thing was sliding.
But now
And-
there's trees down everywhere and
Yeah.
everything is still sliding. And here's that phone line still down on the ground. And there's wood everywhere. People just moving it out of the way. Still a phone line down on the ground. This whole side's got trees that are still down. Pulled the phone down last year, the line's down. Still the phone cord on the ground. Oh, look at that snapped tree trunk right up ahead of us. That was a huge tree. Yeah, exactly.
I wonder if them suckers on the sides of them keep See, this is collapsing off to the right also, and then the
they
problem
put
is
logs
off
on
to
top
the
of it.
left. Yeah, that was the phone company stacked them up there, and the power company. And then off to the left, the mountain's sliding, so it's not like we can dig deeper into that.